Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing great, as I always say. And in this video, I got a good variety of stories for you. I have some stories from Washington, I have a story from Mexico, one from Arizona, and a lot of them that don't have a place name. So definitely, if that sounds like your cup of tea, pull up a stump, and let's jump into it. Thank you for watching. When I was 13, I had a sleepover with a bunch of other girls at a friend's house. We decided to play the Ouija board at like 1 in the morning, since nobody can sleep. A couple of the girls chicken out and leave the room. The rest of us, maybe 5 girls, are all sitting in a circle with our hands on the planchette. We start asking the usual stupid questions, and we're not getting any of the answers except ones that are obviously one of us screwing with the others. Somebody makes it say some swear word or whatever, and all of us start laughing. The atmosphere has gone from creepy to funny, and the whole thing is basically ruined. So, obviously at this point, we're not touching the planchette anymore. After a while, we stop laughing, and then we realize that the planchette isn't on the board anymore, and we can't find it. It's literally nowhere. Somebody crawls under the bed to look for it in case it somehow ended up there. The girl under the bed stops talking. She comes out with a very confused and freaked out look on her face. She asks her friend if we can move her bed. We do. There's the planchette, except it's half sticking out of the solid wood floor, like melted into it. When we touch it, it's room temperature, not hot. We can't move it even a little. None of us know what to do or how to explain this. We end up moving her bed back and just kinda chucking the Ouija board outside. My friend moved out years later. The parents never noticed this somehow. It's probably still there on the floor, to be honest. In 2009, I used to go out a lot since I was a kid. I had insomnia even then. I had a ground floor room, so it wasn't hard to sneak out either. My parents had no idea. I never did anything illegal, well, not often anyways. I just liked to walk around at night. The best times was when this night market that was down the road was left open. One time I took a bunch of candy. I was never caught though. And as you can tell, at that age I was like thinking that I was some kind of master spy or criminal. But one night, when I was walking through a tunnel that connects one side of a park to the other, it goes under a lake, so there's always water everywhere. I'm splashing through it and having a great time. And as I'm splashing, I hear someone else walking toward me from the other entrance. I never carry a flashlight, so I slow down just in case it's a grown-up who might get me in trouble. Whoever it is making a lot of noise, which to me means they're big, like really big, and I think, oh, is it a cop? I really don't want to get in trouble, so I press my back to the wall and try to blend in. I'm absolutely sure that I'm about to get arrested. Getting caught was not an option. My dad was not a nice person. The footsteps get closer and closer. Whatever it is about to pass by. I can only see it vaguely in the dark. It looks like a guy or something in a long coat. He pauses when he's right in front of me. I can't tell if he can see me or not. I'm holding my breath. He looks over. His eyes are huge. They're huge and black like frog eyes. He smacks his lips at me is the best way to describe it. There's a super long, almost stare down between us. He leans in close and growls, "Home. Go." He keeps walking. I wait until I can't hear him anymore, and then I sprint home. I was so afraid to go out for a while after that. I started again, but ended up getting caught by my dad eventually, and after that, I didn't walk at night anymore. So I live in Mexico, and my cousin is a good friend of mine. We'll name him Raul. Raul wants to try the American dream. He asked me to lend him money. He proposes to sell me his Ford Lobo and that I could pay him later on, so I lend him the money. A few months pass, and Raul comes at night to my house and tells me that I can keep the truck and that I don't need to pay him anything. I tell him that his brother, Mario, keeps asking me for the rest of the money. He tells me that he will talk to him. He says, and tell him that it was his fault that I died, he says. Then I wake up. I get a phone call from Mario to go to Los Angeles to identify Raul's body. This story was sent to me by Tyler, so I hope I can do your story justice, Tyler. Here's my story. It's a little anticlimactic, but it's been on my mind for a while, and I still don't have any answers. It was a few years ago, probably 2017. I was living in a small to medium-sized town in central Ohio. I was working second shift and stayed over for a bit that night, so I didn't get home until around 1 a.m. So of course it was really dark inside my house since all the lights were off. I go inside, but I leave the lights off so I don't wake the wife up. The house is a split level with bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. The kitchen is on the ground floor and the family room is downstairs. I got my shower and I decided that I wanted to get a snack before going to bed. As I walked down the stairs, I saw this orangish red light on the ceiling. At first I thought it was a smoke detector, but it was kind of big, and I realized that I didn't have a smoke detector over there. I stopped and looked at it for a few seconds. It was a solid orangish red light. No movement, no blinking. It just looked like a big red LED on the ceiling, but for as bright as it wasn't casting light on anything else. So I keep looking at the light as I creep down the stairs, and I feel for the light switch. I find the light switch and I stare at the glowing spot on the ceiling, and I flick the light on to see what this light is coming from. Nothing. Nothing at all. Just my blank ceiling. I quickly flick the light back off, but the orange-red light is gone now. I run down to the kitchen and quickly check around the kitchen and even look out the windows. Nothing. I've never seen it again, and I have no idea what it was. If anyone has an answer, I'd sure like to know. There were only a couple of other incidents that took place in the bedroom. My wife had the blankets pulled off of her in the middle of the night, and my wife and I both had separate incidents where the blankets were pulled tight around us, almost like it was trying to keep us from moving, by holding tight against the mattress. We never saw anything with these incidents, we only felt it. We sold that house in 2020, not because of the incident, but because we had the opportunity to buy property that we liked more. So Tyler, I hope I could do your story justice for you, and thank you again for sending that in to me. This video was sent in to me by D. D was featured on the channel before with a different set of stories that he had, so I'll try and enhance the audio as best I can to try and make it louder. It's already loud enough, don't worry, but just for people who are listening on their phones. And this is what he says about the video. Hello. In this video, I'm having a smoke. I'm in my reserve, and it's very early in the morning. I have been under the assumption that things happen when you least expect it, too. So I keep a video going for every smoke or venture to the teepee. In this case, I caught audio of what has been ailing my reserve. So just what do you think that was? Let us both know down in the comments. And thank you again to D for sending in that video. I hope that you can figure out what it is and maybe get rid of it to have a little more peace in the morning. I'm an abductee, but nobody will believe me. This happened in 2006. I was driving a rig to Bellevue and took a wrong turn. I knew the route, I just spaced out, I guess. I ended up on a very small 2-lane that I definitely should not have been on. I can't turn around, so I had to keep going forward. The blacktop turns into really worn out concrete and then into dirt again, but I still can't turn around. So I go about 3 miles and then I can't go anywhere. A lot of roads in that area are decommissioned logging roads, so they just kinda end. This, I guess, was one of them, apparently. So I'm sitting in my rig, trying to decide what to do. I start reflecting that it's really strange that I took a bad turn. I've done it before, but not for years, like not in a long time. And then I realize that I just feel kind of off. I check myself over, I check my rig, and nothing seems wrong, except I've got this really weird rash on one of my shins. It looks really similar to road rash. My pants are ripped in that spot as well. I don't remember getting this at any point prior. I checked the clock on the rig and it says a good time. I check my phone and there's no service, but the phone works. It's the correct time, but it's the next day. And I think, this is impossible. What the hell's going on? So I finally get out. I look around. I'm looking up at the trees. In one, at least 30 feet off the ground. Up in this tree, there's a shred of cloth. Upon closer inspection, it's my pants. I'm freaking out right now. How the hell did it get up there? I end up backing the entire way down the road. I join up back with the good road a ways down, and I eventually get to Bellevue. My boss is pissed because I've been totally AWOL for 24 hours. The mileage on my truck corroborates my story to a T, that I only went the distance I was supposed to, and no further. But nobody believes me. I barely avoid losing my job. Something took me, and I lost an entire effing day. I don't know where I went, but I haven't felt the same since it happened. I grew up in the Arizona desert. People don't realize just how weird stuff gets out there. My friends and I would camp out there, and guaranteed we'd hear at least a few things or see something weird. I don't want to say we got used to it, but we weren't not used to it at the same time. I have a ton of stories, but this is the one I'll tell for now. Anyways, sometime in early high school, we decided to go out and camp during the long weekend. My parents are used to it and they don't really care. So we pack up and hike out into my friend's property, which is massive. We get to our usual camping spot and notice that it's trashed. Not like litter, but like a whole bunch of stuff itself is everywhere. It looks like a tornado went through it. We figure maybe there was a big dust devil or something. But then there's these weird scorch marks in the dirt and pieces of rock that almost look melted together. We figure in that case it must have been some big fireworks, I don't know. There's kind of that weird smell in the air, but we easily ignore it, passing it off as somebody had big fireworks. We decide to stay for the night. We rebuild the fire pit. Everything is fine up until the sun goes down. Then we start hearing stuff. It sounds like a raspy mumbling. None of us have heard anything like it before, so we're all kind of on alert. The sound is getting closer. It seems to be moving in a circle around our camp. None of us are armed, but one of us has a hunting knife. That doesn't really make us feel any safer though. way too dark to hike back. We're basically stuck out here for the night. Over the course of about an hour, the sound fades away and gets louder, almost seemingly completely random. For a short time, we thought that it sounded like chanting, but then we listen to it more, and we start to think that it's not like chanting, it's more like a weird humming sound, kind of like the sound that power lines make. So, the air starts to smell like hot sand. My friend with the knife is convinced that we're going to get abducted by aliens or something. He starts to freak out, and he's throwing flaming hot pieces of wood out into the dark. We're telling him that he's an idiot, and he's probably just throwing it at some weird animal. Then, one of the pieces hits something. We get a brief glimpse of something rust-colored, almost the texture of steel wool. It kinda had that same loopy ribbon look, if that makes sense. Whatever it is, definitely is not a human or an animal. We all start chucking pieces of flaming stuff at it. It doesn't really seem to care. There's eventually enough debris that we can get a better look at it. It was like a square stick figure, kinda like those Cocapelli things, but without the hair. It's made of this shifting rusted wire looking material or something. It's letting out this weird humming sound. The ground it touches starts to burn and scorch. It circles the camp a few times like it wants to come closer, but it doesn't want to get close to the light and be seen. We're all just standing there, terrified, thinking that we're about to die. Suddenly, it lets out this really loud metallic screech, like two gears grinding together, and flies backward, almost like it's rocket-powered. Everyone just flips out. We leave the gear and sprint all the way back to the car. We peel out and leave. We come back for our stuff a week later, but all of it is burnt to coals, and we never camped there again. And I have no idea what that was out there that night. So this happened back when I was a college kid in Baltimore, Maryland. I was a commuter student, meaning I had to drive back and forth both ways to and from campus. So I was driving to the campus to spend the night at a friend's house. It was 8 p.m., and it takes 30 minutes from where I lived to get to campus. And then there's a blank when I'm driving. I end up putting a ticket into a BWI airport kiosk to enter the airport. I enter the airport parking lot. I question why I'm there and what I'm doing. Did I take a wrong turn? Wait, why did I have a ticket? I look at my clock. It's 11:45 p.m. I look at my phone. 11:45 p.m. and 5 missed calls. I freak out. Why was I at the airport? Why did I put the ticket in the machine? Where was I going? I've never been so scared in my whole life. I've totally lost 3 hours of time with no explanation. So I lived in an extremely old house. It was a 3-story house, including the attic, and no one ever went up to the attic. It hasn't been opened in about 10 years by this time. I sleep in a room that is underneath the end of the attic, and every night I would hear thumps coming from upstairs, like somebody was walking around or stomping. They were muffled, but I could definitely hear them. Personally, I never thought too much of it. I figured it was maybe a heater kicking on or something, until a few years passed. We took out all the carpet out of the attic, so it was bare floors. While it was open, I decided to go up and just see what was over my room. There was a noticeable indentation over the portion of the carpet that was above my room. It was in the shape of 2 half circles that come to points about the size of my hand. As they rip up the carpet enough to reveal the flooring that's over my room, we found a ritual circle. There was this pentagram there with 80 symbols surrounding it. I counted them. They were all carved into the wood with dried blood and candle wax on each one of them. Now I'm really freaked out. All those years I've been hearing an actual thing stomp. After a few nights, the thumps came back. This time, instead of a muffled thump, it was obvious something hard was banging on the wood floor. It sounded almost like hooves clopping on a patio. After we removed the ritual circle, they stopped. I still wonder what would have happened if I actually went upstairs during the stomps. So, what did you think of those stories? Let me know which one was your favorite one down in the comments. I personally liked the video quite a bit myself. So, if you have a story of your own, or a video, or a picture, anything, that you would like to see in a video, then definitely shoot me an email down at the email down below. I wonder if I could say email more times in that sentence. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the stories. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to, you can like and subscribe, and there are links in the description where you can support the channel if you want to. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for pulling up a stump, and thank you for watching.